Hello, welcome to Morning Call for Monday, what is it? The 11th of February 2019. Belter Lauda, welcome to your tech news for today. I'm Fab. I'm in Hamburg, where it's sunny, and it looks like spring is coming. It's still a bit early, so I don't believe it, but I believe the birds are believing it because they're acting up. Good morning, Slippers. Hope you're doing well. Hope the cat's doing well. Give my best wishes to YOLO. Anyway, let's get into tech news. That's what you're here for. That's what this show is about. So the biggest story at the moment, you will not have missed it, and I have talked about it before, is actually still Jeff Bezos. He is still in a fight with the National Enquirer, and the guy there called Packer. So the Register keeps on reporting about this because this just makes Register headlines. It just creates them automatically. So they're saying after Amazon's Bezos exposes Packer, National Enquirer pushes back, promises to probe itself. Publisher will take a long hard look, make sure it's not a sticky wicket. Okay, enough. These guys are great. So yes, this story is Jeff Bezos, who announced the divorce with his wife. We then learned that apparently somebody had sent his sexting messages to the tabloid in the US called the National Enquirer, and that apparently also, is what also kicked off. Well, it didn't kick off the divorce, but that's apparently why they announced the divorce publicly, because otherwise the Enquirer would have done it, and now they're in a fight because Bezos says they released these text messages. First of all, they said they tried to extort him. And now he says they released it for political reasons. Interestingly enough, this Packer guy at AMI, the company that publishes the National Enquirer, was part of that probe against. So he delivered material, I think, to the persecutors looking into Trump's lawyer, Cohen, and he got immunity for that. But now that Bezos published his thing, apparently sources are saying that people inside the Justice Department are now looking to revoke this immunity, and it's all a big mess. So Bezos is saying they tried to extort him. They are saying no, this was just a normal meeting. We had sources. We wanted to give him the opportunity to respond or whatever, normal journalistic practices. I'm not sure I'm buying this from this tabloid. Given that AMI, the Register says, given that AMI has already admitted under immunity, it effectively gave $150,000 hush money to a woman who accused Trump of cheating on his wife with her. The loss of an immunity could be catastrophic. So this is so Bezos is all saying, this is all political, and now he's going after them. And he basically, I think he's basically saying they released this for political reasons. They attacked Bezos because Bezos is like one of the tech CEOs of the biggest tech companies in the US. They're all pretty anti-Trump, quite openly and stuff like that. Now, meanwhile, the Daily Beast is reporting that the original leak. So this makes it sound a little less political. What the Daily Beast is saying, they're saying the original leak to the National Enquirer came by the brother of Bezos's mistress, basically his new lady. Yeah. Although these are like anonymous sources, it's all a bit muddy. But I guess I don't know. I don't know if this is true now. Why he did that? Maybe he didn't like Bezos. So they're basically saying that that this brother is now a Trump supporter, and that's why he did that. Although I don't know. I guess that would bring it back to Bezos saying it's political. It's pretty much a big mess. I find it quite interesting because it's been a while since like Silicon Valley and the tech world has had like a dirty scandal like this. And it's definitely the biggest thing happening in tech right now. I mean, everybody's just talking about this. But let's move on. Let's get you into some more hardcore tech stuff, I guess. The first news is actually bad news for the second story we have here is actually bad news for Activision Blizzard. So for a while, there've been a few YouTubers. One of them is a channel called The Quartering, which I watch videos of sometimes, and he's been saying he picked this up from like from a stream where the ex-Blizzard CEO Mike Morhaime was talking about the company and how since Activision acquired it, like they basically ruined Blizzard, and they were putting all these so apparently in Blizzard, they used like departments and heads of departments had a lot of like leeway how to run their things, and then Activision came in with like a heavy hand, and it's all like very capitalist, whatever. It's like really hardcore, hard-boiled business practices, and apparently he was saying that was ruining Blizzard. And then this whole thing started like this rumor thing on YouTube where like The Quartering and other YouTubers were actually said they had sources from inside Blizzard telling them that there's shit going down, that they'll be firing people, and that like people like Morhaime didn't leave by their own accord and were kind of pushed out because they didn't agree with the new practices. Basically, the assumption was that Blizzard's games weren't doing as good as Activision was thinking they should. Like they were looking at Fortnite, they were saying, you basically had Fortnite before Fortnite came out. Like, why isn't Overwatch as successful as Fortnite is? What's going on with Hearthstone? We thought, that was like the first digital trading card game, really. Like, why isn't that taking off? But this were all rumors. But now they're not rumors anymore because Bloomberg is now reporting that Activision is planning to cut hundreds of jobs. So Activision Blizzard, and shares have dropped, and it's all really bad news. And they're basically oh wow, what happened here? Just jumped. Oh, I only have 9 free articles remaining on Bloomberg. Oh my god. That's a reason to just bomb me with more ads. Yeah, so I mean it's been tumultuous at Acti Blizzard. We know this. I mean they just recently got rid of Bungie because Destiny 2 didn't perform as well as they thought it would, and so they cut Bungie loose. And they're also having other problems. But basically, the Bloomberg is reporting, is confirming what like these rumors were saying. Um, they're not happy with Overwatch and Hearthstone basically, and they need to cut corners. Also, I mean, they had other stuff. Mohame left, but also their CFO, I think, left for Netflix. So they were saying that they were firing him, and then it actually turned out that he had a new position. This was shortly before they actually on New Year's Eve. Bloomberg saying Activision said they fired him, Spencer Neumann, and then he took a position at Netflix. Yeah, not good. Although, as Bloomberg points out, Acti Blizzard not the only people with this problem. EA is also in the same predicament. Their shares fell 13% on Wednesday, after the company confessed that some of its biggest releases disappointed. So, I mean, I think what you're seeing here is big AAA publishers in a bit of a crisis in being faced with something like Fortnite, which is a free game, came out of nowhere, huge success. I mean, to be honest, this thing started with PUBG, but Fortnite has just exploded so much more. To be honest, it really started with Minecraft. I mean, there was indie games in the indie games revolution, but games that basically, to put it to just simplify it down, that got free games that got really popular with the kids, and if you have such a big game, even if it's free, I mean, there's no ways to monetizing it. Epic is just blowing up with the Epic Game Store, and they're now capitalizing on this, and big companies like EA and Blizzard are just looking on and going, what the fuck did we do? We're like, what did we miss? And also, like, there were lots of AAA stumbles recently, to be honest. I mean, EA had big stumbles with Mass Effect. It's just recently Fallout at Bethesda. Fallout 76 just not doing what they wanted it to do. I mean, really, the only game last year that really hit it out of the park for AAA was Red Dead Redemption 2, which is a huge success. But even there have been reports like, hey, it's not, it's compared to Fortnite, it's not selling that well, which isn't a surprise. I mean, Fortnite's free. But anyway, in other news, let's talk about Google a bit. We like to talk about Google here. You might remember last year there was some news, or there was basically reports that there are companies. I mean, everybody in the tech world kind of knew this, but so there are companies that have access to the Google API, to the Gmail API, where they can basically programmatically scan all your email. And then they use that to create apps or stuff, but also to like get data on you, and then probably sell that to people. And so there were reports last year, how this is actually going on, and how companies use this, and it was a little bit of I wouldn't say a scandal, but like it kind of hit Google, and now they are wanting to fix this. And their solution is that now apparently developers who get access to this Gmail API will have to pay for security audits that cost from $15,000 to $75,000 every year, or even more. And here the Regis is talking to like a smaller company called SquareCat. They make like this. I think they have it's just some kind of app. Anyway, what were they doing? they're basically saying, well, we're just too small. Like we can't pay this. I mean, we use this API. They are actually creating a bulk email unsubscription app called Leave Me Alone, which sounds like a good thing. You know, that sounds like a service you want to have. But yeah, they're saying they can't pay. I find this interesting because, I mean, Google does have a problem there. But I mean, what they're doing here is, it feels like they're putting the burden on the other companies. I mean, they're saying that they don't want a thing like Cambridge Analytica, but to be honest, I mean, why should that other company pay for a security audit so that Google knows, like, so that Google can't find out that they don't misuse that data? I mean, Google knows this. Google is giving them the data. You'd think, you know, so basically Google has your email, has everybody's email. And we know they read that for ads and stuff. So they have that, they know what data they have, and they use that data. And they're actually giving that data to a third party company. And now they're making them pay so that they can figure out what data they give. I mean, this doesn't make any sense. I mean, if you look at the headline, like the teaser image on the register, he's just a guy with binoculars and like dollar signs in them, and I think this is pretty much this sums it up pretty much. I mean, it's good that Google doesn't want like a Cambridge Analytica problem, but you'd think like it would be their responsibility to sort that out, and they have enough money. It sounds like they're just turning around and just asking the other guys for money, or it looks like they want to get like some smaller players out of the ecosystem that can't pay this or something. I don't know. It seems like a weird approach to me. I'll be keeping an eye on that. I find that very interesting. I found that whole email API story very interesting. Yeah, I mean, we all know that that's going. If you use Gmail, you must understand that Google and other companies have access to your email. And I'm not saying you shouldn't use Gmail. It's a great email app, but you should be aware of that. Anyway, let's talk a bit about Tesla. I like talking about Tesla and Elon Musk. And so there was a story, I think in 2017. So Tesla has this autopilot thing. It's not like a self-driving car, but it's like a assisted driving thing. It's called auto steer. And there was the U.S. road security organization. They're called National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, NHTSA. Never heard of them. I heard of the TSA, but that's a different thing. So apparently in 2017 they were saying this auto steer thing reduced crashes of Teslas by 40%. And Elon Musk was actually quoting this. He was quite proud of this. He was saying, report highlight, the data show that the Tesla vehicle's crash rate dropped by almost 40% after auto steer installation. By the way, I find it weird that people use data as a plural. I know it's a plural. I know that the singular is datum, but like I would always say the data shows. The data show just sounds weird to me. Anyway, I looked into this once, and apparently it's both things are correct. Just depends on what side of the fence you're on. But I found that weird. But now it turns out that this is actually completely wrong, because this I forgot the acronym again. The NHTSA can't do statistics. They completely fucked up. They just analyzed the data wrong. Mike says here. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's Mega Slipper says same. It sounds so wrong, yet it's entirely correct here. Well, okay. It's both is correct. Data is a plural in Latin. Datum would be the singular, but because nobody uses datum, Nobody uses that in English. In Latin, you would use it, but in English, pretty much nobody uses it. It's pretty much it's accepted that data is now also the singular, which is, I mean, in English there are lots and lots of words where the singular and the plural is the same. Sometimes that originated from the singular, sometimes from the plural. So if you look it up, and I did because I was proofreading scientific papers and I wanted to get this right. It's actually both is correct. It depends. Actually, if you do a scientific paper, you will look at how the journal who you're publishing in is doing that, which is a pain in the ass if they reject your paper and you have to publish in another journal and you have to change it all over the place. But yeah, I guess that's what regex is for. At university, some lecturers use data and time. Yeah, some lecturers, but that here's the thing. If you want to figure out language use, don't go by university lecturers because some of them are really weird. But yes, but both is completely correct. I just think it sounds ridiculous. But that's just me. Anyway, back to the guys who can't do statistics. So they just miscalculated. So there were lots of datums, lots of data points. Where they didn't know if the car in question actually had used auto steer. They took in, when they calculated this, they had data. Datums? Now I'm completely confused. Anyway, they had data, and but they in some of these cases, apparently afterwards it turns out they calculated with cars that actually had the mileage of zero. There were some cars that had negative mileage in this calculation, so it completely fucked up everything. And so the data is wrong. And they figured this out because there's a company called Quality Control Systems Corporation, QCS, that actually reevaluated the data and did everything, did that, and then actually on their own, with their own money, and then actually sued the NHTSA. It's not now they've won and they've figured out. So actually it seems like instead of reducing the crashes by 40%, AutoSteer actually increased them by 59%. So the debate is like, does that actually prevent accidents? And I think what they're saying now is that no, it actually causes accidents because people are just relying on it. Although what they found is apparently in lots of these cases, the car could be repaired. So they're assuming from that the crashes weren't as bad. I'm not quite sure about that because I think that is just the case because the cars are so expensive. I had a crash once in a Twingo. It's a car that costs like 10,000 euros new, and if two airbags, get activated in that's like 4,000 euros just to change the airbags. And if the car's like 2 years old, it's like not worth it. Whereas if you're driving a Corvette or a Tesla and you just have a relatively benign crash where the airbag goes, 4,000 euros for an airbag in the Tesla, if you're driving a car that's 80,000 euros, it's still well worth it. So I'm not sure about that. But I find this just hilarious that, speaking of fake news, as people like to say today, it's just like this is a U.S. national, government organization basically that can't do statistics, and then like this company had to sue them. It's quite amazing. I'm just looking up who this guy was, because I'm not quite sure why they sued them. So this company is just a guy. It's just a company from like a random statistician. It seems like, and I think he was just like, they can't do statistics. I need to fix this, and then he calculated that himself. and then he told them they were wrong, and then but basically they weren't admitting to it, and he did like a FOIA request, and they were just like they were hiding that they probably figured out that they did this wrong, but they were hiding it, so he had to sue him. Yeah, as Aski says, trau keiner Statistik, die du nicht selber gefälscht hast. Trust no statistics you haven't falsified yourself. That's supposedly Stalin. Anyway, find it hilarious. Yeah, statistics is hard. Don't just like trust statistics, because lots of people doing it wrong. Interesting. So I think the main takeaway from this story is that they just didn't have enough. The data were not good enough. Yeah, interesting. Anyway, a bit of German news. The Bundesnachrichtendienst, the BND, our CIA equivalent, has moved into its new Berlin headquarters, which took ages to build. I think it cost 1.1 billion euros. Yep, to build, because it's like it has like what they're saying, 20,000 kilometers of fiber and 10,000 kilometers of copper lines on the on the premises. It looks bloody ridiculous. It looks like a fight. So they're saying they moved them to Berlin. So they were in Pullach, next to Munich, in the middle of nowhere, in some just like random location, kind of basically hiding. Which I guess, for a secret intelligence agency is a good thing to do. But the government's saying they're moving them to Berlin as part of oversight of intelligence services. Sounds like a reaction to Snowden, but like Snowden was 5 years ago, and I think this move was started way earlier. I can remember, like, I think almost 10 years ago they were talking about this, because I mean this building, they had to build it. It's like apparently highly secure. It has like you have to, the people who work there have to hand in their mobile phones, and then they have to, when they work there, and then they have to do like biometric scans, and there's like venal scans when you go in there, although they're apparently very secure, although CCC, I think, has broken them already, as always. But I mean, I look at this building, it's horrible. It's like this, I mean, they're saying it's supposed to be more transparent, and, this is like government oversight. And then you look at the building, it looks like a fucking bunker. Also interesting, it has this palm tree, this fake palm tree in the courtyard, which is actually, that's a cell tower. Yeah, I don't think, this, I mean, I think they have them in UAE, they have these fake palm tree cell towers, they're supposed to look better. Your phone really doesn't want to connect to that cell tower, I think. Reem says, didn't they had to build parts of it again because the plans leaked? Hi, Reem. Yes, I think, I don't know if they had to, I'm not sure if they had built it already. I think that they did, it took longer. It took longer because of that, obviously. There definitely some plans leaked. Of course they did. Now, interesting, this is Heise reporting on this. The interesting part about this is that there's in Germany one department of the BND is especially controversial in light of the Snowden things, because there's a department called TA, Technische Aufklärung. So they're the SIGINT people, and they're not moving to Berlin. They're staying in Pullach, and they were the ones. There was like this thing called the Selector affair in Germany, where basically, so they have a deal with the NSA, and the thing was basically, so we're the German. They're the external intelligence service. We can't spy on German citizens, right? And you're the American external security service, so you can't spy on American citizens. So we'll spy on the Americans, you spy on the Germans, and then we just exchange data. And they had this thing called selectors, where they were supposed to spy on certain people. They would get. There's a government oversight in Germany, and the parliament is there's oversight, and they would have supposedly clear missions, and like these people are terrorists, like, and people would sign off on this from the government, and they would say, yes, you can spy on those people, and they had certain selectors, and they would like get data from the NSA, just internet broad surveillance data, and just based on these selectors would just supposedly get data, mission data, data on people they were allowed to spy on, like, terrorists or whatever. But it turned out that they wouldn't do that. They would just get bulk data from the NSA, and they would actually give the NSA in exchange, so that then they knew this was going on, and they would give bulk data to the NSA as well, concerning American citizens and stuff like that. And then there's a whole scandal that they supposedly bugged the D6, which is like in Frankfurt. There's a big backbone exchange. It's the biggest one in Germany. It's like basically all the traffic's routed over there. Like if you have a hop to America, you'd go to Frankfurt, you'd go to the D6, and then it would route there. And so apparently they bugged that, or that there are rumors, or people are saying they bugged that, and there's not really conclusive proof, I think, but it's very. It's very likely. Sorry, like my voice is going. I don't know why. I need more coffee. If you would bug it, you'd bug it there. Anyway, I'm rambling on today. This is a long show. I'll just leave you with one last story as my what the fuck story, and it fits this whole D6 thing actually, because talking about internet connections, I found a hilarious story on ZDNet. This Catalin Simpanu writing for ZDNet. He used to write for Bleeping Computer. Lots of IT security stuff. Is very prodigious writer. So apparently Russia has a contingency plan for just terminating the internet, like cutting off the country from the internet. And I want to test this soon, I guess. So ZDNet here saying, Russian authorities and major internet providers are planning to disconnect the country from the internet as part of a planned experiment. Russian news agency Rosbusiness Consulting RBK reported last week. The reason for the experiment is to gather insight and provide feedback and modifications to a proposed law introduced in the Russian parliament in December 2018. A first draft of the law mandated that Russian internet providers should ensure the independence of the Russian internet space, RUNET, Russian cyberspace, Ruski cyberspace, in the case of, sorry if I have any Russians watching, listening, in the case of foreign aggression, to disconnect the country from the rest of the internet. Okay, here's something for you in the Russian government there. If you're disconnecting from the internet, if you're disconnecting yourself, it's not the internet anymore. It might still be Ruskinet, but it's not the internet. Interesting. So apparently they have lots of things in place where they just root start where like I guess every ISP and company that has any connection out of Russia, I guess they just do that with software. They'll just change the routing table so that no traffic will go out of the Russian net and nothing will come in. I wonder how good that'll work. I mean, I'll be pissed off, right? If you're in Russia and you're just like Twitch streaming and you're doing this and you're doing a podcast over the internet and then they just disconnect from the internet and you can't talk to anybody who's not in Russia? What the fuck? It's just like something that Putin would do, though. Yeah. Anyway, I hope you have a great week. I'll be back tomorrow with more tech news. If you're in Russia, you might be even able to hear it. Maybe you have to wait a few days until they connect the internet again. Yeah. I hope you have a good week, and see you tomorrow. And always remember the can't. Goodbye.